Come on, man. It's a state of stupidity.
It's a state of stupidity.
State of stupidity.
That's just a state of stupidity.
State of stupidity.
I believe it's a state of stupidity.
They want you to believe it's the state of stupidity.
I told him. I said it's a state of stupidity.
Welcome back to the State of Stupidity. It's episode 17, and we made it. September 23rd came and went, and we're still here. But shit's gotten crazier. I mean, I've seen some shit going on with our debt clock. We've got the Biden impeachment proceedings currently. They're talking some shit out. They're seeing if it should go to impeachment proceedings right now. I think that's what's currently going on.
You got Menendez.
Menendez and his bribery.
His big 1 ounce gold bar, that's the big sticking point.
Dude, when they brought that up, the way they talked about it was hilarious. Making it sound like these were like giant, like Fort Knox style.
They made it look huge.
Bars.
It was a 1 ounce bar.
And well, the fact of the matter, once they said $100,000 in gold bars, that right there should have thrown a flag to anybody paying attention to what it was saying, because $100,000 in gold is a pittance. That's only a few ounces. I mean, that's not much at all.
Well, it's like 1,800 an ounce, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. So
okay.
It'd be like, I don't know what.
Yeah. Well, the math is there, but it's definitely not gold bar.
It'd be like 50 ounces.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, what I thought was funny too is how they're, he's got all this money hidden in his coat suits and dresses and blah, 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 envelopes of money.
Well, he's rich. If he's going out on the town, if he's going anywhere and he has money and he doesn't want to have to worry about transferring that money from one suit to another, hey, if you got that kind of money laying around, then just keep it in your suit so it's ready to go.
I mean, my whole thing is, if he wants to keep the money at home, obviously he don't trust the banks either.
Right.
So, and what's they're making a big deal. They're like, I don't know if he's aware that the FDIC doesn't insure the money at your house. Well, no shit, moron. Of course they don't. Of course he knows that. If the FDIC insured money that I had at my house, I got robbed 10 times already.
A story like this being pushed by the state-funded propaganda is because of the gold, because they don't want us buying gold, and because they don't want us storing cash. They want us to be scared of those kinds of systems.
The whole thing with him is they could try convicting him back in, I think, like 12 or 13 or 4. I don't remember what year it was. And they failed then for the same crime.
Yeah.
So now they found new allegations of new briberies that they have. And they said right in their own report that the one that they said that he did never even came to fruition with anything. So what are you charging the guy for?
But that's what I mean. So it's just about optics. It's just about sending certain messages to, you know what I mean? Getting those viewpoints out into the ether.
I don't know if he's just not towing the line. That's what it might be. Who knows what's going on behind closed doors? Because why do they want this guy out of there so bad?
Well, he's a scapegoat. He's up on the chopping block, and they're bringing him out, and they're going to use him to, make a statement. It's what they're doing.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of these, like, it cracks me up, though. They complaining about how he has this money at home.
Yeah. Well,
there's lots of people that have money at home because they don't trust the government. They don't trust the banks.
Well, but it's timing to be a distraction as all these transactions between Biden and China are coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have it right on Friday when everything comes out, and they distract you with this nonsense.
Yeah, because I mean, there's they have proof that there were transactions made from China, and the address listed was Biden's home address. So, I mean, right there, like, that's your
exactly.
That should be what we call a smoking gun as far as, foreign influence is concerned.
And
right?
who else would be the other big guy that Hunter's always talking about? You know what I mean? Who else would be this other big guy other than his dad?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy, and I think it's somewhat coming out the way it is because I think the younger generation doesn't necessarily like the older generation as much as it is shown. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like the whole laptop situation with Hunter is more or less like him giving evidence over and then just kind of dealing with the chips as they fall just to kind of get the ball rolling with all that shit coming out. Because, I mean, yes, there is stupidity, but these guys are smart. Like, they did what they did. They put the things that they did in place the way they did. They're not stupid. So when a move seems stupid, like there's more to it. I mean, because at the same time the laptop came out, you also had the book, the diary, and they both got swept under the rug because
You mean his daughter's diary.
yeah, which is actually his stepdaughter.
Well,
I like the way they talked about it. I thought it was blood, which made it super creepy. Not that it's not still fucking creepy, but I mean, yeah. But anyway,
well, the whole thing with that too is, James O'Keefe ended up getting that.
Right. It was
He offered to give it to them.
Yeah.
He didn't report on it because he did his due diligence and he couldn't verify it, unlike these other reporters from CNN, MSNBC that just blabber all sorts of bullshit.
Yeah.
He told them straight out he didn't do anything with it. He offered to give it to him, and then they have to raid his house to get it.
Right.
I mean, that was all just to put him down too. They probably gave him that to him, hoping he would do something with it.
Well, and it was because that's what got the ball rolling with getting him out of his own company.
But they figured, you know what, we're going to give this to him because he's probably like all the other scumbag reporters on MSNBC and CNN, and they won't verify it and they'll just run the story and say, "Oops, sorry."
Yeah.
And then when he ended up doing the right thing, they were like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
this guy's actually honest." So now we got to burn him another way.
Right.
It's kind of, I don't know, it's just pathetic.
Well, and it's their MO though is to just go in the wrong direction. I mean, we have the evidence against the Biden crime family, which is what we should be referring to them as until they are prosecuted and put behind bars. I mean, it's ridiculous that there is so much evidence on video, on paper, like, and for them to just say there's no evidence is bullshit. Like, it's one thing to not have evidence and claim you do. It's another thing to have evidence and for people to be telling you don't have any evidence. Like, that's just it's a fucking kangaroo court is what it is. I mean, it shows that nothing matters and everything is just made up.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, at this point, what we should legitimately do to fix this whole debt situation that we have, supposedly, because, I mean, I don't know. I didn't sign anything that says I owe anybody that. I don't know if you did.
I didn't.
I mean, I know
I didn't, and I don't plan on it.
There's a lot of people who put their names down and signed their names that they owe that stuff. And they were nice enough to be elected officials and, give us all this record of who they are and when they signed and all that stuff that we know who actually owes that money. It's the politicians who signed it away. Like, they're the ones who need to pay for the debt. So, I mean, all the wealth that they stole from the American people in any way, shape, or form, the world people as it is, I mean, that's where the money to pay off those debts needs to come from. They need to stop saying we like they got some fucking mouse in their pocket and own up to what they put forward as being, it's what we were talking about with the Oprah and the Rock thing, which it turns out that money has now disappeared.
Of course it did.
Yeah.
See, I have no control over the debt.
Right.
Why should I let them pay? They want to spend all this, aimlessly spend money on stupid shit in their private projects and put it in their pockets. Let them take care of paying for it.
They have plenty. Like, how is it that they put the country into deeper debt, but they become wealthier? Well, that's not how it works.
Isn't it amazing between BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street? They could pay to get rid of the debt.
Well, I think they should. They're the ones who helped cause it.
Yeah, but what they're going to do is they're going to say, oh, we're in such a bad shape. We owe all these people money. We're going to come in and save the American people. We're going to pay all this debt off. And guess who? Then we're going to owe them the debt.
Well, I think somebody is doing something like that out there because this whole debt clock situation, the USDebtClock.org, on September 22nd, switched over to a new format where they added a bunch of things that are looking like something's coming currency-wise for a reset for us. And we have on one side of things where the gold and silver standard have a nice little arrow that was added to it, and it's pointing over to the current M2 money supply. which is sitting at negative $790 trillion.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Now, but that number is going
Is
up.
it trillion or billion?
Billion. Sorry, billion. Thank you. But now that number is actually going up. And I have a theory that it seems with what they're showing there, that once the old money zeroes out, then we're going to be going back to a gold and silver backed standard, which, if you actually look in the U.S. Constitution, there is articles written that the states, nobody can take us off of the standard of gold and silver. So when they did that in and of itself was going against the Constitution. So how we were then able to exist in such a way for the last, that was 71, 72, so the last 50 years is just by sheer, hey, we told you this is what it is, and that's what it is, and then people agreed to it, and that's the way it was. Well, now there's enough people calling bullshit, and we need to readdress the situation, and it does look like somebody is. Because on that U.S. debt clock, there's also listed U.S. Treasury dollars for 2025, and that number is going up. And now that number is only at, it's at 1 trillion, 1 point some trillion. But now there's another one listed right aside of it that is the M2 money supply. That money supply is the one that is plummeting currently. And I believe that when that one depletes, that's when we will switch over to this U.S. Treasury dollar. And now there are pictures going around the internet of what these notes could possibly look like. They will be of something that's what we know of, but a lot different, a lot more streamlined and newer looking. The one big alteration is that they have Kennedy on the 20. But now I can't find anything that's going to verify that this is absolutely a thing, that this is 100% the plan. But from what I'm seeing on the internet, there is definitely something fucky going on with the currency. On that debt clock, it lists the BRICS currency being for what it is to a gold ounce. And I think it's over $150,000 to 1 ounce of gold. There's a lot of telling signs.
How much is it going to be?
Huh?
How much is it going to be per gold?
150,000 to 1 ounce, I think is what it's currently at. Hold on, let me quick pull this up. But now the debt clock is running in real time based off of information that they pull from government sites and the Federal Reserve sites itself. Now, the Federal Reserve, of course, is not a part of the actual federal government, but they've got us all believing that it is. Okay, the current BRICS GDP to gold ratio is 135,000 per ounce. Okay. Now, just to put that into perspective, our ratio for what it used to be was, now this is from the website here, the dollar to gold ratio over 10 years is listed as being 9,353 per ounce. So now, I don't fully know precious metals and currency exchange and all that stuff because, I mean, I'm just a common fucktard.
Yeah.
But I do know that the internet started to get a little active over this change. And now with what's coming next week with the test of the emergency broadcast thing, the timing of all of it just seems a little fucky, where on October 4th at 2:20 in the afternoon, the National Broadcast, the Emergency Broadcast Association is going to be conducting a half-hour-long test. Nobody knows what the message is going to be, but it's going to be an alert and a tone. So it's not just going to be a message, but also a frequency that they're going to be blasting out for supposedly about a half hour. on Wednesday of next week. But now it could be tied to it, or it could just be they're testing things. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's better to be awake and aware right now than to just think that everything is business as usual. I mean, look at what happened in Canada. I mean, first they had.
Are you talking about the Nazi in Canada?
Well, did you see the Indian assassination?
I seen that.
There was that. There was a big hoopla and stir.
Well, they blamed it on India or something, and they got them all upset.
Yeah, and they're claiming that the guy was a terrorist. Canada's saying he was just a plumber. There's just one photo of him holding an AK-47 going around the internet, and because
Really?
he has a headdress
turban on,
on
yeah,
and a
yeah.
beard, it's automatically let's connect him to those
terrorist, yeah.
9/11 memories, and that's the way we're gonna push that.
That's ridiculous.
Right. But anyway, that was quickly swept under the rug because they got Nazis in the parliament.
Well, I mean, how do you
It's
bring a
2023. You do it on purpose.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's it. There's no other.
Trudeau's supposed to be, anti-Nazi, and Trump's a Nazi, and this is a Nazi, and you bring a Nazi into your parliament when you have Zelensky there,
Right.
with his delegation at the same time, and then you give the guy a standing ovation,
Not just one, but two standing
and then you're
ovations.
like, we screwed up.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me? All you do is cry Nazi this. You talk about bigotry. You're so far left, but that's the problem. These people talk one thing and they're
Right.
the total opposite.
Exactly.
That's probably he probably wined and dined that guy.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Zelensky is a Nazi. We are currently helping the Nazis
Well, yeah,
fight a war.
So that guy's Ukrainian. He's a
Right.
Ukrainian Nazi.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is like,
From World War II era.
But here's the thing, like, I mean, my whole thing with this is like, this guy's what, 90 something?
98. And yeah,
How is this guy going to get tried for war crimes
right?
when?
Werner von Braun was allowed to just come over and start NASA?
And
Where's the...
and not only that, like the guy, I'm sure the guy wasn't like a high fucking commander.
No.
So you're doing what the hell you're told, or you're getting shot in the back of the head.
Right.
He had no choice but to do that. Now you're gonna bust the guy's balls when he's 98 and really can't defend himself.
Yeah.
But
And you're in this. It was so quick that this information came out. You're not telling me they didn't know before.
yeah, they knew this guy was a Nazi.
Yeah.
Exactly. You didn't just find this out.
Well, it's
somebody
one of
didn't
those
notice.
things-
Oh, there's the guy that beat the shit out of me over in Poland or Ukraine.
Yeah.
They knew who this guy was all along.
Exactly.
And like I said, what do you want the guy to do? If he wouldn't have followed his command, this is not like it is nowadays where you can, go.
Oh, dude, that's still happening. No. It's still all these military accidents all these training accidents where helicopters just crash or where this, that, or the third happens.
Where we lose an F-35,
Yeah.
a $30-some million plane or whatever, we just lose it.
That is bullshit stuff. Like,
But I'm just saying, this guy couldn't go to somebody and say, hey, they're making us do stuff we're not
Yeah.
supposed to do. They're like, oh yeah, come over here and dig your own grave.
Yeah.
And then we're going to show you what we do with people like you. I mean, what do you think the guy was going to do?
Well-
and then you're gonna hold him accountable for it years later.
Right.
Do you have any proof of even what he did?
Right. And at this point, I mean, like, I get that with it being, if we're
Did
going
they-
to try his war
did they not
crimes, are
watch-
we not going to take care of the other war crimes that are currently
Why don't we
happening
take care
all
of
around
what
us?
about the war crimes?
That's what
we're-
I'm saying.
We're bombing people with drones and killing innocent civilians constantly. Are we gonna? Is the guy flying the drone back in the United States going to get charged with war crimes?
No.
It's completely ridiculous. Like this guy, who even knows if he was recruited when he was 10 or 12 years old?
Exactly.
Didn't everybody ever watch these old movies? They take these kids right out of the house. It's either fight or die.
Well, it goes back to the 1800 reset when they were shuffling people around the orphan trains and shit like that, where, I mean, they were able to move them around and get them indoctrinated into
Exactly,
new ways
yeah.
of thinking.
Well, not a lot of that. It's real easy to indoctrinate somebody when you say, do what we say or we're going to kill you.
Especially that young.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're getting kids. I mean, now speaking of kids and speaking of Ukraine, Zelensky has asked for someone to be an ambassador for the children of Ukraine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Marina Abramović.
Well, why didn't he just call?
That is not someone you want anywhere
well,
near
he
fucking
should
kids.
just had Obama or Oprah
She's
Winfrey
tied to
doing it.
all of them.
She would've been
She's
great.
tied to all of them. She's known for something called spirit cooking. She's known for putting on elaborate parties where they eat cake it's supposedly it's fucking cake.
Yeah.
But these are people. Like, it looks like a human body.
Okay.
Like, and when you cut it into it, it doesn't look like cake. Like, I mean, it's some they went to very intricate detail to make the insides look like inside should. You know, and we're talking A-list celebrities are going to this. I mean, she's connected to fucking Lady Gaga bullshit. Lady Gaga went to her to fucking get indoctrinated into the bullshit.
She's out there in left
Well,
field.
I'm telling you, you think Lady Gaga's out there. This bitch is one step above her, and now she's helping the children of Ukraine?
Yeah.
What? At the request of Zelensky.
Yeah.
Now,
And
he
we're
can
gonna give-
ask anybody in the world to be coming over there to help do that. And you're going to pick someone who is that well tied to fucking satanic dark cult bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the signs are all around us. The writing's on the wall.
What I don't understand is Zelensky's over here. Now, did you see I had that meeting with all them billionaires?
The billionaires?
Yeah, he had a meeting with a bunch of.
I mean, I saw the UN one, but
No, he had one with one of the directors at J.P. Morgan.
oh,
Yeah, let me see if I can pull that
so
up.
he knows where the dark money's at.
Well, what he's doing is he's supposed to. So, here we go. It was Wednesday night he did it.
Okay.
He met with like Robert Kraft from the Patriots.
Okay.
Um,
And see all those people.
Oh yeah, the Wall Street's and CEO, all the Wall Street CEOs.
Yeah.
So he met with them, and he's asking them for money to rebuild the country.
All those people need their bank accounts seized. Anybody who gives money to him
Yeah, but
needs their bank
let's
account
ask the
seized
question,
and
though.
redistribute that wealth.
He's getting money to rebuild the country.
Yeah.
Is the war over?
No.
Is Russia done bombing it?
No.
Why the fuck are we worried about rebuilding it?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense.
It's all money
yeah,
laundering.
So exactly. So we're gonna rebuild the country as it's actively getting bombed.
yeah.
I mean,
No, that's not what they're doing. Like that's not what the money is
but
actually
that's
being
what
used
that's what
for.
they're saying he's doing.
Right. That's
I mean-
how you get away with it in the public eye.
Yeah, it was hosted by Marie Callahan Adrose, CEO of J.P. Morgan Asset and Wealth Management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robert Kraft was there. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out why these guys, but yeah, he's trying to get money to rebuild the country, yet he's whining he needs more equipment to continue the war.
Yeah, he's over at
He's
the UN.
complaining that the country's getting destroyed constantly.
He's 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
Talking about needing more weapons, and then he's 2 blocks over talking about the rebuild effort.
We need to rebuild it. Listen, fuck that guy.
Well-
If we're going to take any money to rebuild it, let's send it to Maui.
Do you know that there's
Let's send it
taxpayer
to
money
let's send it to East Palestine.
going to Ukraine pensions?
Really?
Ukrainian pensions?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's part of what we're funding over there is Ukrainian pensions. And this is like, this is where, I mean, that we're in clown world. Like, it's all off the rails. And I mean, it's just about at this point finding where you can snag some money.
I mean,
I
it just irritates me. Like they're going to listen to this guy giving money. Why aren't we building fucking homes for veterans to live in? Why aren't we building homes for all the homeless people to live in? We're going to give money to these guys
And then say it's so hard to do it here.
Exactly. And then we say we can't do it here.
Yeah.
We can't, but we can build a single guy can build a place in Texas to house up to 200,000 illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
But we can't put our own
Well-
veterans that fought so all these assholes could do what they're doing.
No. Did you see like that is a shanty town. Like that's a third world.
Oh, I know.
That's
It's
not well built at all.
I'm not saying it is, but it's still a lot of ground.
Yeah.
You're-
Well, a
you're-
lot of acreage.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I mean, you put all the infrastructure in,
Yeah.
and they just have to build their own homes, and you know how they're going to.
and that's well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at them, that's exactly what they did. They just built them the way they do, where they come from, and so they're these just cobbled together, just waiting for a nice breeze to come along and knock them down.
And let's talk about Biden visiting. You know, Biden said when he was in Hawaii, he didn't have time to go to East Palestine
Yeah.
to visit the train wreck because he was so busy.
Yeah.
So did he know ahead of time that this strike was going to be going on and he was going to be going out there because the strike just started?
Well, it's all
and
about
he
the
was,
Bidenomics.
Yeah, and he was there
Go
immediately.
out and tell people to stop working.
Yeah, well, the best part is these people are kissing his ass. He's the one putting you out of a job, you idiots. You're complaining that the plants are going to close down, that
Yeah.
you don't want X amount of plants to close down. Well, when you build an electric car, it takes way less parts,
Right.
so they don't need as many people.
Yeah.
So you're for an idiot that's going to take your jobs away as he's telling you he wants you to have jobs. It doesn't even make sense. And then you're whining because you're making $30-some an hour.
Yeah.
And you want a 40% increase and you want to work 4 days instead of 5
Yeah.
and get the same pay. But you're also complaining because the guy across from you that started 2 months ago is only making $15 or $18 an hour, and you think he should make what you make.
Right.
So it already shows how stupid these people are.
Yeah.
Why would the guy that just starts make the same amount you're making? You've been there your whole life. You worked your way up, and this guy's making. You're complaining because this guy's making less than you.
Right. Well, and that's just it. It's we never got around to managing pay scales
And well, the other thing is they talk
in an
about.
appropriate way.
You can tell these people should just stop trying to run businesses because they have no idea what the hell they're talking about because
Yeah.
they talk about record profits.
Yeah.
They're not talking about record profit margin. There's a big difference.
Right.
If something 10 years ago was $100 and you made 10% on it, thanks. That's your shitty title
Yeah.
job. You're hitting in heavy stuff. If something's $100, you're making 10% on it. You made $10. Now, if that same thing's $150, you make 10% on it. You make $15.
Right.
But the profits are higher because the actual cost of materials to do business and everything has to get raised. Now, or did they raise car prices more than they should have? Probably.
Oh yeah. That's the problem.
But do these people think that by them getting more money, they're not going to raise the car prices again?
Right.
So that's even going to go up more.
Well-
And you're making $32 an hour. There's people in this country that would kill for that job.
Oh yeah.
And you want to make that and work less.
Right.
To me, it doesn't make sense. They're just a bunch of they're just as much as thieves as the CEOs are.
And that's what they're just trying to adapt to what they've seen. You know what I mean? They're just trying to become
problem is
what they've known.
They have
you
an
know?
idiot, they have an idiot up at the top that doesn't do shit except make a lot of money. He doesn't even work. He just runs his gums.
Yeah.
And then he does. Oh, I don't need Biden here. Then the next day Biden's there. He's kissing his ass.
Yeah.
That guy don't know his ass from a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
He don't know shit about running a business. He obviously doesn't know how the difference between profit and profit margin is. So it's just pathetic. And then Biden wants to sit there and say, oh, the unions built the middle class. That's bullshit.
Right.
The middle class was built by farmers and hard-ass workers before the unions were ever around.
The
buddy.
middle class
I hate
was
to tell
built
you.
by the middle class.
Exactly.
It was
wasn't
built by
built
Americans.
by fucking unions that
No.
are less than 20% of the actual middle class workers, buddy. So you're just a clown. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Corporations and unions have cannibalized this country.
Exactly. They destroyed it.
Yeah.
They absolutely destroyed it.
They put us into the now, and it's not totally destroyed though, because they've just left it in a nice place where
No, they destroyed
new
it.
management
They came.
needs to
They
come.
came in here when they put the pipeline through.
Yeah.
They were paying kids out of high school, $50 an hour to take a welding rod and hand it to a welder.
Yeah.
They with no skill whatsoever. They were here for 3-4 years. These kids thought they were worth all this money when they really weren't worth shit.
Yeah.
And now all those jobs left, and they're stuck here with new cars and motorcycles and all this bullshit
Bills,
they can't afford to
yeah.
pay for. And now they go to get a real job in the real world where the union doesn't exist, and they're like, oh shit, I got to make $50 an hour. That's what I made before. Well, guess what, buddy? That's not realistic.
You better have a skill.
Yeah, exactly.
You better be able to do something.
You better be able to do something other than
Yeah.
hand me a piece of paper or a rod, buddy, because other than that, you're not getting it.
Right.
So they destroy the generations. I mean, it's just not realistic.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. It's where the reset is necessary.
And then when you bring them in, like we've had them work with us, they're these union carpenters. They're useless. They're pussies. They can't work.
Yeah.
They don't know what a full day of work is. They don't know what hard work is.
Yeah.
Because they're used to working 6 months out of the year because the union's so shitty they can't even get jobs because nobody wants to deal with them.
And they only work 8 hours a day
They work
because
8
they don't
hours.
they don't worry about overtime.
Yeah, they can only
You can't do
work 8
overtime
hours a day. Exactly.
because most of the contracts they had to do, they weren't
Yep, they
factoring in the overtime.
Exactly. They got to sign all these bullshit contracts too. You can do this. You can't do that. You can't do this.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And it is where it just needs it. They have think tanks that they have cobbled together to be able to come up with these plans. What we need is our own version of those think tanks to dismantle and reassemble things.
Yeah, you take the same job, you have a union company do it, and you have a private company do it, non-union.
Mm-hmm.
The non-union company will do it faster, better, and for less money.
Right.
And everybody in that company will still make a great wage.
Right.
Then you have the union company in that does a shit job. It takes way too long, and it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
And then guess who pays for all that? The taxpayers, because all the union jobs are government jobs. Because the only way the union can survive is if the government holds their hand. Because without the government, nobody ever hire them for anything.
Well, I mean, yeah, because the union doesn't do any. They're just basically they're bureaucrats. I
Exactly.
mean, so bureaucrats don't do shit. They don't produce anything. They're just parasites. I mean, it's the same as the politicians. I mean, well, that's what politics means. Many parasites. I mean, it's right in the fucking name of it. I mean, we knew they were bloodsuckers. They told us they were bloodsuckers. So it's one of those things where just because the older generations have, allowed a certain level of this indoctrination to occur, doesn't mean that we can't come along and say, hey, I think it's time we do something new, do something different, do something that makes sense. I mean, it was what the founders of this country, if the bullshit story that we were told has any truth behind it, they told us, they laid it out that we were going to have to do this at some point where we were going to have to reassess and reevaluate and redo it. We need to go back to the way everybody would come together and have the ability to communicate with each other. The problem is most of us all want the same thing, but they've all got us fighting over the different shit. They've all got us thinking that we're each other's enemies instead of they are the enemy. I mean, it's right there. They're clearly, they do not have the people's best interest at heart. They do not give a shit about due process. They do not give a shit about doing what's right. And I mean, the politicians who are saying, oh, well, we're trying. No, you're fucking not. You need to hand over your wealth and all of your assets. Every politician that has signed away our country to other nations, to other debt, no, fuck off. You guys are doing that. You are paying that.
Yeah, let them pay. All the money they have, they stole from the American people.
Exactly.
None of them went in. A lot of them, some of them went in rich, but most of them went in there with nothing.
Yeah.
And they're rich all of a sudden on a $200,000 salary. How the hell is that possible?
Well, it's pretty fucking easy when you're not doing anything and you're just taking money.
Exactly.
When all you're doing is finding new ways to take more money.
Look at now. We're talking about shutting the government down again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same bullshit story all the time.
And I'm sure tomorrow's the 29th. If they don't do anything by tomorrow, then supposedly Monday it'll be shut down. I guarantee you tomorrow there will be some bullshit story that, we punted the football down the road. We kicked the can down the road a little bit more.
As we always do, yep.
Yeah.
And then, they dick these people around that are relying on these jobs.
Yeah.
They lose a day's pay. They lose a second day's pay. Lose a third day's pay. They can't afford to do that. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're not sitting high up like these guys are, making all this money.
Right.
And they're getting paid. They're getting paid to do nothing.
Oh, yeah.
These other people that have all these jobs are not getting paid.
Right. They hold their pay,
bullshit.
but they will, and they use that as the pawn against each other.
Then you make them people take a loan out.
Yeah.
To get, so
pay
they
back,
can pay their
so they can
bills.
pay their bills in
exactly.
that time.
So now they're going to take a high interest loan out, and then they're going to get their money, and it's bull. I mean, they're going to get their back pay, but it's still bullshit because now their back pay is worth less money because they're paying they're paying interest on the money that they had to borrow.
Well, but not only that, but they'll put their back pay in one lump sum to then put their pay into a higher tax bracket to then tax it more. I mean, I had that happen to me with the state.
Oh, so they pay you one lump sum and then you're in a higher tax bracket.
Because there was a whole month. I forget what year it was anymore, but there was a whole month where we went without pay because they didn't pass a Pennsylvania state budget.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do? You're without pay.
Yeah.
You're not sitting on a pile of money like them idiots.
No.
So what do you do?
Well, I mean, I just wrote it out. I did what I could do. I kept what I had and just was able to make it through. And then when it hit, like I called my car payment everybody that I owed money to, I just let them know, hey, ahead of time, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it. They all gave me a grace period, and then the second the money came in, that money went to them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was one of those things where the way it worked out, when they gave us our money back, we actually didn't make what we would have normally made for those hours because they took more money away.
That's
Like,
ridiculous.
if I would have gotten that in multiple paychecks instead of one paycheck, I would have had more money.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make fucking sense.
Well, what they should do too is they know that that's going to happen. They should make an adjustment for that then.
Yeah. Well, after that happened, they then, because of the fact that at the time they also lost pay, they then passed legislature that could never happen again.
Yeah, they can't lose pay?
Well, no, that nobody can.
Oh,
that the state of Pennsylvania, if they
Yeah.
can't pass a budget, everybody still gets paid.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they went, and that was the first thing they did when they
Oh,
came
sure
back.
they
from
did,
that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny how on the federal level we still haven't done that.
Right. Well, I mean, that just shows you. I mean, it's
It just shows you they don't give it. They're not working for us.
No.
That shows you right out who they're working for.
They work for themselves. I mean,
Ridiculous.
it's one of those things. There's 50 states. There's and all the U.S. territories and all that bullshit. And I mean, we can come together as a people throughout the whole world. But in order to do that, we need to get rid of the ruling class. Because the thing is we don't need to be ruled. We're perfectly fine living on our own. Like that's the problem. The problem is that too many times throughout history, the ruling class gets a little too uppity, and then I mean, how many revolutions have we had?
Not
There's
enough.
Not enough.
One, not enough.
Yeah. We're still sitting where we should probably
one
get another
shy.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and if it is anything, it does not look like we're going to have an election next year. I mean, everything that I'm seeing, the election is not going to happen. Like the last election, look at what they did. The whole fucking COVID shit. I mean, so before that, they were getting fucky with shit. Then that happened. I mean, they've got everybody to a point where they're more than willing to accept some of the fucky shit that they do. So I could easily see a proxy war starting, and then all of a sudden we're in a wartime, and there's no reason to go that route of having an election.
You know, talking about the war, get back to Ukraine. I guess they got the M1A1 Abrams tanks.
Yeah.
And I love the headline. Is it too little, too late? Well, you're just bragging how they busted through the line.
Yeah.
In the Russia's line, the defense line. But now all of a sudden the tanks. Well, listen, if it's too little, too late, turn them the fuck around.
Right?
Send them back to us.
Yeah, we'll take them.
We'll take them.
Yeah,
Take
we're
'em,
gonna need
gladly
them.
take 'em.
We're gonna need them.
Yeah.
And we're gonna need them to fight the monster down in Washington. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the only thing that they know. I mean, because it's the only thing that they've been funding for how fucking long is this military beast. Well, it's time to turn it on it.
That's just their profit center.
Right. Well, I
all
mean,
that
it's one of those things where they gave us all the tools we need. They gave us all the infrastructure we need to take it from them. They've given us. You know what I mean? Like it's all here. We just need to work together to do it. I mean, and that's why they have to infiltrate everything with the FBI, where they've got to fucking get their agent provocateurs in everywhere they can. Because they know if they had enough intelligent enough people get together and talk some sense to each other, well, it would easily become a problem for them.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why they keep us fighting over what fucking football team we like. Oh, fucking
Anything they can come up with.
anything and everything. And just when you think there's not something, oh, they find something new to pull out. They find something crazier to go with. I mean, the fact that the football, the sports and shit, when COVID came and everything stopped, but then football season came and it was back to normal.
Oh, they made sure. Yeah.
There you go.
They put all
That's
the
how you know how
they moved
fake
all the
it is.
basketball players down to Florida so they could play in the bubble.
Right.
They called it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to miss that because we don't want to miss our profit center, guys.
Yeah.
You can miss yours.
Yeah.
Robert Kraft wants to make sure he's getting his billions every year.
And that's just it. I mean, you're talking these fuckers are multi-million dollar athletes.
That
could have easily have taken a year off and still had enough money to last them 3 lifetimes.
Oh, well, that's really not true because they make all that money and they spend even more of it.
Well, that's their own dumb fault. That's so fucking what? You're the dumbass that was given $4 million and you went out and spent
the problem
$3.99 million of it. And now you're crying the fucking blues that you don't have enough fucking money.
The sad part about a lot of that is a lot of their agents end up stealing that shit.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's what because they don't.
Sad. Hey, that you're a fucking idiot.
They're coming out of
didn't
college.
Read the contract.
Exactly. They're coming out of college. It's not even that. They just embezzle it and do all sorts of crazy shit.
Well, and again, there you have it's the older generations taking advantage of the younger.
Yeah.
No matter where you turn, that's what it usually boils down to. You have.
I mean, shit. Did you watch the? George Foreman, did you watch his documentary?
No.
So he.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
He lost all his money to his friend that was his money manager.
Right.
I mean, tons of money. He was able to he was able to.
And now, while he was a boxer, right?
At the time, no, he was actually he made the money from boxing.
Yeah.
But then he decided to get out of boxing because he found God. He wanted to be a minister, and he built a place, a youth center, and all this stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then all of a sudden, the youth center's getting closed down
because
the money's gone.
Yeah.
It was invested into bullshit.
Yeah.
Or just I think it was more invested. I think he just did high risk investments with it.
Yeah.
Got to make all this money.
Yeah.
And ended up losing it all.
Yeah.
So then he had to reinvent himself at he was in his 40s, I think.
Yeah. I remember the Foreman Grill.
Yeah, I mean, he was
that's why he named it. That's why he put his name on it like he did. Because of the way he got fucked.
Yeah,
he wanted it where he was always going to be making something from it.
Yeah, I mean, and then he named all his kids George. But he said he did that because he always wanted his kids to feel, if something happened to George, it happened to all of them. If something bad happened, it happened to all of them. If something good happened, it happened to all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of cool the way he did it, but I mean, it's kind of weird at the same time. But
yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like that, he had no idea. He was just trusting somebody. He was doing his thing, trusting them to manage the money, and that's what happens.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, when you get, when you have so much and you need to start to look around for help. I mean, the vultures start picking. You got to be wary, and I mean, you most of the time, the first person to present themselves is gonna be shady.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially if they're presenting them, if you didn't find them and they found you, well, I mean, it's one of those things where, I'm sure they probably knew each other for years, and that guy then went.
Well, they went to an academy together.
Oh, okay.
Like the government had some kind of, I forget what they called it, but they sent the troubled youth or whatever to this, and that's where they met each other.
Yeah.
And then he just, he was into managing money and stuff, so he figured he's going to use him as an accountant.
Yeah.
And, well, that didn't turn out well.
But now, what he wanted to do, that's the kind of stuff that we need. We need new programs that don't have the rot in them. We need new systems that don't have the rot. It's not about trying to fix the old at this point. It's about taking the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and readapting it for America again. Like keeping it, but putting it back to that. Not trim out all the fucking bullshit that they've gone and layered in there and stacked on it with all this bullshit legislature that they have passed that goes against the Constitution. Like the fucking gold backing, like the precious golds and metals backing for our currency. That in and of itself.
Well, that's why they hated Mendez, because they were upset that he actually had some gold.
Yeah.
He only had 1 ounce. Imagine if he would have had all $500,000 in there in gold. They really would have got upset.
Well, but that's just it. It's not about the gold with him. They made it sound like it.
Oh, yeah.
To make it sound like it was so much more than what it really was. I mean, if he had any money, It's in his shell company.
Well, exactly. I mean, if the
Like-
guy's not stupid. He's been was he a congressman?
Yeah.
He's been a congressman forever.
Yeah.
You think this guy's going to be dumb enough to put $500,000 in his house?
He's not just, he's the head of foreign relations.
Exactly.
Like, he got to that point. These guys aren't fucking idiots.
No, they're not stupid.
No, and they got to those positions.
That money they found
If-
was his petty cash.
Yes, if he knows what he's doing and he got to that level, he knows how to hide money. He knows how to hide money smartly.
Oh yeah.
Like if he's got, what was it, like 40 grand in each suit? If he's
It was something like that.
yeah.
It was just whatever.
It was like 10
Yeah,
suits
it
with
was
40 grand
it's
in
like
each.
you said, it was so he could go out in the town. He'd have
Yeah.
40 grand on his pocket in case he needed cash.
I mean, like if you're talking
Jersey
to a
has
guy
a lot
that's
of
at
strip
that
clubs,
level,
so
well,
maybe he's gonna get busy.
they've also got a lot of mafia.
They only do that.
So he's got a lot of backroom deals to be dealing with where he's going to need cash on hand. He doesn't want those transactions to be on the books. And hey, as long as it's not illegal against the American people, hey, I mean, what he does is what he does. But like the simple fact that like they're trying to bring it out and bring it about bribery, for me, it's about that.
You
It's
think-
about the message being sent
You
about
think they're gonna have the IRS
political
go after him?
bribery.
You think they have the IRS go after him for hiding the money?
I don't know. They got their hands tied up with all them lawsuits that Hunter's thrown at them.
exactly. He's keeping them busy for a while.
Well, but I mean, hey, they got all them weapons, so like, what are they gonna do? Like, is it?
Maybe they're planning on starting a war of their own.
Well, I mean, it gives more credence to the fact that there's a cold civil war going on when the alphabet agencies themselves are like basically arming themselves to become a separatist army. I mean, we already have plenty of well-armed and well-trained military officials. I don't think the IRS, like, I've seen some of the people that they employ. I don't want those people having guns.
What they should do is those organizations just shouldn't sell guns to them.
Well,
All these, they're so anti-gun. I'd say, all right, you're anti-gun,
and
we're not selling you guns.
anybody who sees these companies selling them weapons and then still gives these companies their money, I mean, you got to talk with your dollar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you see, I mean, it's what
Nobody know-
Remington, isn't it?
Nobody. Well, Remington was bought by far left. Well, for the far left, anyways. People just
Oh.
don't know that.
Ah, okay,
Yeah, that's been done a long time ago.
yeah, but I know they were the ones who provided the shotgun, so I mean, right there. But I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you can't say that the writing isn't on the wall. You know, you can't look around and see the immigration issue, the constant flow of missing between regular American citizens and the migrant children coming across the border, the missing kids that are just disappearing. Like, you can't look at all of this and think everything is okay, everything is normal, and we should just keep going. We should just keep doing what we've been doing this whole time. I mean, it's one of those things where the way they have the Matrix set up, we've bought into it, okay? But we've woken up to it, and now being awake to it, you can't just say it's okay, you know? And you can't just try and poo-poo it off. You can't try and fucking give it excuses. There's no fucking excuse for most of this shit. So it's one of those things where if people don't want to pay attention, well, then I don't want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that you think that I should spend my time thinking of other things or this, that, or the third. It is what it is. I mean, I'm an optimist. I'm actually, like, as doom and gloom as I may come off, I'm actually an optimist. I see that the light is being shown on the dark, and it's scrambling. The cockroaches are scrambling for those fucking corners, and it's coming down. But now, I'm not saying that a more diabolical, more totalitarian force might not try and take advantage. They could easily take advantage of this situation, and it could get darker before it gets better at the same time. But the next 7 years, well, it's going to be a pretty wild ride.
Oh yeah. Well, this next election is going to be interesting.
Yeah, the next year.
That's going to do. Yeah, that's going to show a lot of what direction we're actually going to be heading into.
Yeah. with
From my perspective.
yeah, and with what I've seen from the last 4 years to what's coming within the next year, I do not see us having an election. I mean, we haven't had a fair and legal election in I don't know when, if ever, in our lifetime, but especially because if you just look at the ones who have been in office, it's been just a nonstop stream, especially since at least Bush Sr. I mean, you could even still trace it back from him because you had Reagan, who was an actor. You had, you know what I mean? It was all there to lead into it, even. They've been plotting and planning this for a very long time. So anybody looking at it and thinking that they're just fucking stupid and that they're just being incompetent, they love that. They love nothing more than people thinking that they're idiots because, they're rich fucking idiots. You know?
I mean, you can't be that stupid and be that rich.
Right. And that's you can you got that right. Because at that point, if you're that fucking stupid, somebody's taking your money from you.
Exactly.
Come on, man. It's a state of stupidity.
It's a state of stupidity.
State of stupidity.
That's just a state of stupidity.
State of stupidity.
I believe it's a state of stupidity.
They want you to believe it's the state of stupidity.
I told him, I said it's a state of stupidity.